Welcome back, everyone, and in today's music theory video lesson, we are going to answer the question, what is a chord? Now, by its loosest definition, a chord basically is just a component, an idea, a stack of notes. It has to have multiple notes. So it's some element that has multiple notes in it, but that's such a loose definition that it's almost completely useless to musicians, right? And so intervals are what we would really consider to be that definition. We would just say, hey, if we had two notes. So two notes would really be considered some kind of an interval. So that's multiple notes. But the problem is that doesn't really kind of uniquely define a chord. And so as musicians really think about it, musicians would tend to think of chords as being three notes or more. And we would also set a further restriction that we want those notes to be tertian. And by tertian, I really just mean built-in thirds. Built-in thirds. Okay, so let's kind of think about what that means. And so if I had a scale here, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what that would mean is that if I had a root note, I would want to go 1, 3, 5, 7. That's basically what it means, is I want to build it that way. So this would be my first note, my second note, my third note, and my fourth note. And I could add more notes to that later on if I wanted to as well, but that's sort of the construction that I would want. I wouldn't want to see something where I had, let's say, like a 1. Let's say if somebody said, oh, what if I did a 2, a 6, and a 7 or something like that? I would look at that and go, you know what, a 2, 6, and a 7? That sounds to me like we should probably change that to 1, 5, and 6. And then I would think, oh yeah, well, that sounds about right. We have a 1, 5, and a 6, and you're just missing some kind of a 3, all right? And then we just don't know if it's a major third or a minor third or whatever. And so the same thing would go, it doesn't matter what key signature it's in. We would always want to consider writing out a major scale, and then from our major scale, we want to consider building it in thirds. And so 1, 3, 5, and 7. So the idea here is that a chord is going to be 3 notes or more, and we really want it to be tertian based. Does this mean that they always have to be tertian based, like everything is built in thirds? And the answer is no. There are plenty of examples where chords are not built in thirds, but in general, we want to see that. All right, so in our next music theory video, we're going to continue to answer this question about what is a chord and how to continue constructing chords.